Hey guys, I thought I should do a little astrology check-in since I haven't done that in a little bit. So really the biggest news that's happening right now, well, the second biggest news is that Neptune turned retrograde, and this happened late last week. And Saturn is about to turn retrograde. That will happen like this upcoming Sunday. Saturn and Neptune are super close together at the beginning of Aries. So there's some sense in which, like, maybe we're a little foggy on something. But we need to crystallize it and find out the details of, like, some kind of work that's been done, that needs to be done. So this is a thing that's happening. Neptune, because part of what it is that Neptune, even though it moves very slowly, is turning to face Saturn. So Neptune would prefer to kind of like be in a dream world and be in an ideal state, but he's turning to face Saturn, and them being so close together, even though they're not exactly conjunct, they're within like a degree of each other. So them being so close together forces Neptune, as he goes inward and retrograde, to like begin to deal with Saturnian stuff. And Saturn's already in his own evaluation mode about like, oh yeah, I guess there's this thing I need to deal with. But because he's been so fused with Neptune, it's kind of like, well, how do I deal with that thing? And finding the patience to deal with that thing can be a little challenging since Saturn is ruled by Mars right now. So there's that whole process of going, like trying to, get clear as much as possible on the real world details that need to happen in order to make a certain vision work, and knowing that, okay, it might not work right now. This might not be a thing that I can immediately change, but I do need to do some reassessing and acknowledge that a new strategy needs to be in place now. So that's part of what's happening with Saturn and Neptune turning retrograde. The other thing that's a bit of a different energy, it's actually a very different energy, but it interlocks here a bit, is that Uranus 2 days ago just moved into Gemini. Now, Uranus only changes signs like every 7 years, although all of the outer planets that have been changing signs, they're going to do a little dance back and forth. So Uranus will visit Taurus again one more time. But still a monumental shift. He's been hanging out in Taurus since 2018, so it's kind of a big deal, for him to shift. It's quite a big deal. And Uranus had been like super slowed down in Taurus. So maybe there were certain patterns, especially on a material day-to-day level, of like, you were finding your freedom by crafting like daily routines that kind of allowed some space for you to do a certain thing. And then you just kind of did that thing for a really long time. Uranus and Taurus wanted us to slow down and be grounded, which is kind of weird for Uranus. Uranus is the planet of freedom and liberation and revolution. It doesn't like to slow down really, but that's what we were doing in Taurus. So maybe for me, I was finding freedom in my teaching for a bit. And so I was doing more independent teaching during that whole series of Uranus and Taurus. And I'm actually kind of re-engaging now with doing some more teaching, not just on my own, like at a music school again. But anyway, the details are different for each person. But when Uranus was in Taurus, depending on the house, you had some area of your life where you were slowing down but trying to find freedom in that area. And it was a long process. It was a long process because Taurus doesn't move quickly. Now Uranus in Gemini is a very different energy. Being in an air sign, it wants to move outward, it wants to move more quickly, it seeks stimulation, it seeks back and forth conversation with other people, and it will create like a nervous static energy and make you do things. So Uranus in Gemini, very different energy. Keep your eyes open for it. And Uranus is, Venus is hanging out now in Gemini too, so they're having a little conversation. That stimulating energy wants to reach out and connect with other people. But it also, Uranus has entered into a conversation with Pluto, which is in Aquarius, and it is in a conversation with Saturn, which is in early Aries, because again, all these outers have been shifting into the early degrees of air and fire signs recently. So there's a little bit, for Uranus wanting to create freedom and liberation, it's a little bit like, ugh. Okay, I'm committed to this, but that means I'm going to have to do a little digging or mining and working with these structural things too that Saturn and Pluto want me to work with. So he's not entirely just able to kind of like go off and do his own thing, like woohoo. There's still a little bit of kind of like responsibility and overseeing that's happening from Pluto and from Saturn on Uranus's part. Still, it's a new energy, it's stimulating, it's exciting, it speeds things up, it moves more outwards. And it's an air sign now. So I'd be curious to hear how you guys are feeling this new energy. And I hope you're doing all right with Saturn and Neptune, and they're currently ruled by Mars, which is in Virgo. So I hope you're not getting too in the weeds with all the responsibilities and details that you realize you need to deal with now. Anyway, sending you all love and just wanted to give you that update. Take good care.